A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out Buffet too.
All about faith to this is Parker, yeah. Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Tando Pela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Joseph Mokwena. I am your host. And this show is a place where we love South African football. We love African football. And every now and then we dip our toes overseas. Tinabanye, we don't want to speak too much about overseas because, hey, our teams are showing us flames. Guys, remember the show is on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. You'll be able to catch me here at 7 p.m. For those who are here for the first time, you'll be able to catch me here. And then, it's a very interactive show. You are able to jump in and actually speak to me while I'm here. You can speak to me and tell me exactly how you are feeling and how you are seeing some of the things that we're going to be speaking about today. It's very simple what we're going to be speaking about here. It's basically about the big three. The big three, where they're going, what's going to happen, how we feel about the future of our teams, because there's been a couple of really big changes that have happened to our clubs as we've been going through the season. Mamelodi Sundowns, of course, changing Coach Rulani, taking him out, bringing in Coach Mangoba, changing Coach Mangoba, bringing in Coach Cardoso, and now they find themselves in a CAF Champions League final where they could win the second star in their history in the league. Of course, they've come in and they've scored 100 goals this season so far. They've got the record. They've tied the record for the most wins in a PSL season since the PSL had 18 teams. Now it's the first time in the 15-team season that they've tied the most number of wins, and it looks like they're cruising very nicely. It seems like they are the most stable team. You look at Kaizer Chiefs just winning the MTN 8. I guess the questions around Kaizer Chiefs are: is the MTN 8 a good thing to win? And do you think that with what is being said by Coach Nabi out in public, is it maybe a case that teams might get overconfident and think that, hey, the job is done, and not back him or even get rid of him? You heard him say on Thomas Blambo's show that, hey, if I don't get the backing and I don't get the players, I don't want to do another season that's like this one again. Then, of course, the last one is Orlando Pirates. Orlando Pirates, of course, Coach Jose Rivero having his last game this week. What does this mean for Pirates' future? Because not only is Coach Jose Rivero moving out, obviously, he's allegedly going to Ahly, probably going to be coaching in the Club World Cup in about a month's time. But Brasten passed on. There's The structure of Pirates is not as strong as it once was. How do we feel about the future of Pirates with names like Pitso Mosimane, with names like rulani being thrown in the hat? Guys, feel free to request, and you can jump in and we can have a conversation about each of these. I'm going to start us off. Here with, let me just find it. I'm going to start us off here with Orlando Mamelodi Sundowns. We're going to start off with Mamelodi Sundowns. So feel free, guys. Masandawana, jump in. Tell me how you feel about your team's current chances, how your team is playing right now, how they're performing right now, and what is the future for Mamelodi Sundowns? Because Mamelodi Sundowns, like I said, made some really big changes to their structure over the past few seasons. Fleming Burke stepping in, of course, to become the sporting director. He's part of the reason why there's no more there's no more M Tigers. And there's no more of Coach Pitso's roots that are in the club. I said at the halfway through last season, at the end of last season, that I think Mamelodi Sundowns is at a crossroads and somebody's going to have to choose. Someone's going to have to choose where to go, right? Do you go with Fleming Burke, SD control, clubs who are coming and coaches who are coming in and only having, their management? They're coming in and they're just managing a team for 2 years, then moving on. Or do you go with the family approach, keep Abo Rulani, move Abo Fleming out, and continue on with the road that had been paved all the way through the years that Coach Pitso built with Abo Coach Mangoba there? So they chose to go in the direction of Coach Fleming Burke, technical director Fleming Burke, and they might be reaping the benefits of that. So guys, feel free, jump in. Let's have a conversation. We're going to start with Mamelodi Sundowns' future. We're going to move on to Chiefs' future. Then we're going to end off with Orlando Pirates. Tommy, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Greetings to everyone in the house. Greetings to you, sir. Congratulations.
Yes, no. My first Friday as the champion, man.
I know.
Let's get straight into it. When you look at Mamelodi Sundowns and where they are right now, how do you feel about Mamelodi Sundowns' future going forward? Or actually, how do you feel about where it is right now, and how do you feel like where it's going to go?
Oh, okay. To answer your question, I'm going to go back to what I said the last time I was on the panel, and I should give compliments to the other member that came and said we don't criticize, we analyze. I think most of us, we were on board with our South African coaches and how Motsepe just took away the foreign guys into the management system and ran with our local guys. Then after that, we saw success. I was happy with that. But then looking at how we've reached the final and how Cardozo has been very reactive in games, not wait for the next game to make changes, and the rotation I was crying about, and off the field, the caliber of players they're bringing in. Why didn't we? I think I used to look at football, but Marcelo, Allende is not a type of player that excites people, but then he's the number one, maybe name on the team sheet. Maybe when they look the board, when they sat down, they said, this is the kind of players we need. People who are going to be reliable, people who are going to be winners, their attitude, their mentality. And as a fan of the club, I'm just saying, at the moment, I like the direction that we're going into. Regardless of the result in the next 2 years on how we perform in the CAF, I think the foundation there and the blueprint is good. So far, so good. I don't want to be beating the drum again, saying, hey, this guy. No. I'm happy with the choices so far. The caliber of guys that are coming in. I was surprised to see that Suarez is on loan, he's not a signing. So if you look back, we wouldn't have got a loan like that outside the country. A guy who was very bold. I know mistakes like that can crush a lot of South Africans because we know the fan base, how it is here at home. So far so good, and I'm happy. As a supporter, I will keep on riding behind the board. I have confidence behind the board, and Tropi can take us places if we give him time.
Do you think that Coach Cardoso is going to be a long-term coach, similar to Coach Pitso, Lebo Coach Rulani, or do you think that Sundowns is now a team that brings in a coach or a manager, or a steering wheel for a little bit, then you go?
Taking into account what Tiko said on the podcast, I forgot whose podcast it was, is that now Sundowns is an institution. It signs they'll just sign OT or do me because he fits this profile. So I think with the coach it will be the same thing. I see Abu Cardoso coming here to try and be successful. If you don't meet the quota, you're gonna go. But then the structure, Abu Fleming back and the development guys will remain. The identity and blueprint will be the same.
For the last minute, you mentioned the local coaches and how that was Mamelodi Sundowns' identity for a while. Do you believe that eventually the local coaches would have gotten it right?
I would like to say so because I felt remember the coach, the previous said that Cardoso was the head coach, then was one of the coaches, then he went back to be the head coach. So a natural progression would be that he is familiar with the system and he knows where the club wants to go, and then he was going to get it right. So I just felt the answer to your question lies within that question. Sundowns now is an institution. It's Real Madrid, like you come, you deliver, or if you don't deliver, we get someone who's aligned with our vision, how we play and where we want to go. So that's why the local guys would have gotten it right, but because maybe he didn't meet certain things there that they wanted in the boardroom, they let him go. But I just feel maybe it was a change, man. We would have been knocked out maybe. I think it was the CAF games that sacked our local guys.
Okay. No, Tumi, thank you so much. Let me bring in Sentabo.
Yeah, OT.
How are you, my brother?
I'm blessed. How are you, my brother?
How close are you to St. Leo?
I'm very far.
No, Sentabo, I want to ask you. Here we sit. Mamelodi Sundowns started this season with a lot of questions, but it seems like out of the big three, they are the most they're the most stable ones right now. How do you feel about where the club is right now, and how do you feel about where they're going?
Look, thank you so much again for the opportunity, to come on the platform. And congratulations, I saw you on TV, man.
Hey, man. Kancane siyavela.
Siyavela. Yeah. But getting on to Sundowns, look, man, Sundowns, they got the formula right. They have the local coaches, the legends who are in the development phases, developing these boys, and for them to understand the culture of the team. The guys who have played there, they should shine, in piano style, so that they can get it. Like you can see Bole Tlaku and all as they are coming, And they're at the top. I mean, you cannot demand the cherry on top to be like the cake, So they're at the top. You need someone who understands efficiency, number one. Number two, who has a global mindset. So Pirates, I think, they can use the same strategy if they want to be there. You see how brutal we think Ahly is. Ahly is not that brutal. Ahly is looking up to teams like our Real Madrid. Who knows, Uguti? If a coach has to be good, the longest the coach can be there is 5 years. We have seen with Ancelotti. Look at on the 6th year, how much is a mess,
Yeah.
So you need efficiency. So let's look at it this way. When Abu Rulani took over, they understood very well, very early, Kuti, people like Abu Vilakazi, they need to sidestep in order to pave a way for Abu Zwani. I mean, Vilakazi is a fantastic player, like 1-2s and all that, but efficiency of getting forward on time. Abu players like Abu Loch, they couldn't fit the bill to take Sundowns to the final. But look at the players now that are there, They were able to understand, we have to suffer in order to get there. Pirates, I mean, they're still holding on to people like Abu Tito. Tito, yes, he's there. He's for there. I will say he's there for fun. How many chances are created through him? They are very less compared to other guys when they play number 10. So the culture is good to bring up players through the academy, but once you get to the top, we want top talent who will also understand ukuthi ngisemsebenzini la. Yabona? So Sundowns, where it's going, it has the vision, my brother. You can literally take Sundowns, paste it in another league, and I'm telling you, within 3 seasons, 4 seasons, they will start excelling because they have the good structure.
I want to ask you, you've spoken now about, it's a structure. Now they're doing things a little bit differently. They're a little bit cutthroat. Do you think that cutthroat will work with the development of players? Because I think the coaches might be under a little bit more pressure now. Do you think they will still have the ability to go and develop Obulikaku, Abomapena? You look at Cardoso, he's barely used those kids. Does it take that away?
I believe it will. Yazi Kanjani. Like the boys who will be there absorbed into the first team, they will know what it's tight. So they have to be top like cream de la cream. And they have to prove themselves. I mean, he has given opportunity to people like players like Khoza. So Mabena, in his position, he has to know what I have to compete. Remember, Jayden, when he was signed, Cardoso said, I did not sign him, I don't know him. So therefore, he has to prove himself. Jayden proved himself. Look, he has been playing. So that tells you, Guti, not only is the demand on the players, the demand is also on the legends, those who coach like the academy levels. Guti, I have to bring myself my A levels, so that I know, Guti, I produce the best for the team. So it works both ways, which, as I say, Nabo Pirates, even Chiefs, they have to improve in that. Guti, I don't just train Bafana so that they can keep flavor as South Africa, but let me bring them a level up. Like the way Abumfuken they are playing now. This is the way Abumfuken. They were supposed to be AMDC. Look at, let's make a very simple example. Look at Stellenbosch, the structure, top notch. It's easy for a player to come from DDC and then excel in PSL. So because of the structure, we look at Stellenbosch, look at how they performed overseas in Fetu. Like they will beat Abu Tottenham, Abu Manchester City, Abu 7, Abu 5. They get to the first team, they still excel. You don't even realize what Stellenbosch has sold so many players. Like Abu Mendieta,
Reynas, Adams.
You speak of Adams,
Priest.
you speak of the Dino, Dupreez, and Abu Ox, but they are still there because of the structure is that good. So players must know I can only be playful until under 15. The moment I pass graduate, I have to now be serious. I know what I came here for work and I'm serious. If ever I don't perform much, I'll be outside.
For time over a champion. For time over a champions and time of impressive season. What do you think of the team right now and where do you think they're going?
Greetings to Masandawana family and Eitada, what I would say. Okay, first things first, what I would like to say, the Hussein Tabone, he spoke one crucial thing with regards to the integration of the youngsters to the cherry on the cake. So to be honest, guys, I do believe that for Miguel Cardoso not to use the likes of DDC, I do believe that the timing for his arrival can also come into an effect. Because for an example, the eyeing of everything was based on qualifying for the knockouts of the Champions League. That was the mandate. Because I do believe now Sundowns is now on its own league, whereby chasing the league is actually a total qualification for the Champions League. And in my perception, I do believe that we are now in our own league, that if it happens that we are now no longer winning the Premier League, that means we have upgraded to win the Champions League. That's number one. So in essence of everything that is happening with regards to the future of the team, I see the SD actual. Big ups to this guy, and the eyeing of his scouting circuits, it's on another level, because you see the likes of Bafana and Abu Sales. First few months when he was in, the comments, I do believe Uguti, if probably he was on his socials, I don't think we will be having the sales that we are having today. But the belief system of the integration of the structure, because let us go back, Bafethu ukuthi, when you want to have a proper business, you have to assemble people of great expertise, great skills and everything. So when you check someone ofana no Flemingberg, this guy is not just your, pardon for Amakosi, but it's not your junior Motaung who just graduated yesterday and then now was made a sporting director. This guy is coming from scouting teams like Bafana Nabu Chelsea, and ECV yakhe it's so much greater, and its track record speaks a volume. So for him to be here, I do believe ukuthi it's a great initiative for an institution efana ne Sundowns, and the future of Sundowns is now at a level whereby slogan mhlambe mase ku catch us if you can in all aspects. Yeah, you're very.
What do you say? What do you say to people? Because you spoke now about Mamelodi Sundowns and scouting. What do you say to people that say that, man, hey, Ugletabo Allende, Ugletabo Sales, Ugletabo Ribeiro, it might be killing South African football because Sundowns might be the best development place for senior players. Now you've got these guys who are playing important positions. We might be missing out on some important South African players. What do you say to people that think that?
Okay, I would say aba be patient. You know, to be honest, when you are in a big institution, let's say for an example, if Lionel Messi was promoted prematurely during the era yaga Ronaldinho, I don't think ukuthi we would be having the very up-notch Lionel Messi ebese sabanayo in the past decades. So for scouting say Mamelodi Sundowns, let us be honest, guys. Our football as a country is not yet there. Like we are now celebrating our qualification wama under 17, under 20. So eventually for okay, let's say someone may argue ati, but if you check the Pirates ngendlela babangakhona, okay. If you take out Urile out of the Pirates, is Pirates still Pirates now? And then if you take out, let's say like for an example, the way we've been rotating is squad set. I'm so happy ngendlela esenze ngakhona. I'm happy to see mokwena akhonile ukuthi fulfill the season without having a strenuous injury ku season. So for us ukuthi sibe premature ukuthi no, the youngsters must be brought in. Their time will come. Eventually, if you check abantu abafana nabo Zwane was bought long time ago, but he was loaned out. So now, if Singaba so much patient with the vision of the club, and to today we are surprised ukuthi they are speaking of about financial fair play.
Never worked.
Back then they were saying, money can't buy success. I don't know ukuthi sekwenzakalani manje. So I'm happy for the future of the club.
Yeah.
Thanks, OT.
For time, I'm going to jump in. Let me bring you Litabo. Litabo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks for the opportunity, OT. I much appreciate it.
Hey, Litabo, what do you think of where Sundowns is sitting right now? Where do you think they're going, and how do you think that's going to look?
Couldn't be in a better position, OT. You know, we're AFL winners. We have the opportunity to go to the Club World Cup as AFL winners, as Champions League winners. We're in a great position. Yeah, but we'll start by touching on a little bit of Cardoso. You know, I heard a lot of people speaking here, but this guy inherited a well-oiled machine. Let's not lie to ourselves. He inherited a top side, probably the best squad on the African continent, top resources, and he had a responsibility, one, to fix the mentality of the team. That was it. Like, he received a team that was twice in the final, in the semi-finals. They lost one of them by a couple of minutes. They were on the cusp. So if you look at the Esperance game, he fixed the mentality there. Literally, we went to Esperance and we got a draw. We got a nice draw and we came back and we were good. And then we had the luck against Ahly. Must be honest. They played better than us at home. They scored, and they were possibly the better team. We didn't score there. We scored through an own goal. We had luck, you know. So, as I say, Cardoso is here for one main reason, to win the Champions League. He's not here to win the league. He's not here. In fact, he failed in the Nedbank Cup, whereas the last season we got to the final, you know. So his sole responsibility was to get to the final. And I think that buys him an extra season. If he wins it, that's better. You know, he has to win it now because he's playing his Pyramids. I mean, we've been to the semi-final 3 times. We're literally the second best team on the African continent. He has to win it. No excuses. The performance there may determine his future. But I'm saying they might not fire him because of the proximity to the Club World Cup, but the possibility is there.
I wanna draw a parallel. You know, when Pitso arrived at Ahly, he was basically finishing off a job, and he won the Champions League, and then he won his Champions League the following year. Do you think that might be the case with Cardoso, where you go, you know, you were lucky to get past, you know, it was an on goal to get past Ahly. Does he still, if he were to win this one, does he still have to prove himself next season?
I don't think so, because at Sundowns there's nothing to prove. You don't need a coach who comes in and proves. You just need a coach who wins. You don't need to prove anything at Sundowns, because one, a lot of coaches have done it before you, so we know that the squad has the capability to do it. It's just whether or not can you go and win, you know, consistently. So even if you look at Pitso's time at Ahly, he was not necessarily the right fit. It never felt like he was the right fit, but he proved them wrong by winning multiple times, by you know, going 3 times, you know. So I think Cardoso could do that because he's got the team. If you look at the Ahly team, it's evolved from Pesitao, the number 6 from Mali. They've moved away from Abu Abdul Munahim, who's now in France. They've re-signed the right back who won the Champions League with Vert, the Moroccan right back. So it's a different Ahly size. It's gonna mature. It's gonna be better. But I also think Ahly will sell a lot of players as well. They do that every season, you know. Whereas we retain a lot of our players, so we're still gonna have the best squad, you know. Yeah. So I just think for us right now, it's just about building on what we have. And Cardoso, I think, will be there because of his achievements. And I also heard people speak about the development. There's no room for development right now at Sundowns. It's just that there isn't. It's about performance and performance. And if you look at the model of the development, they're signing the best. They're going to the under 17 and looking, say, oh, who has the best? Supersport has the best goalkeeper, we'll take that. They go to the School of Excellence, they'll say, no, we'll take a Mabena, we'll take a Letlaku. You know, that's the model we've gone into, like a Chelsea sort of model, to find the best young players and sign them and hopefully sell them on, just like they're about to do with Maseko right now. Hopefully Jordaan Adams will also be sold. That's the model that they've taken on right now.
I wanted to ask you very quickly, because you've got a minute here. Okay, so we're looking at Sundowns. Do you think that Sundowns is going to be as ruthless as Ahly? Do you think that if Cardoso, let's say, he doesn't win this one, and maybe he doesn't win the next one, it's chai?
Probably, because he's a foreigner as well. There wouldn't be that, you know, that relationship with him. He's here to do a job, and he's also here to build his own CV. He'll get other offers. Remember, he's Portuguese. He'll probably get more offers than a local coach would have. And I heard him speaking in the interview after winning the league about how he was in a final of the Champions League last year, and they're in a final again this year, and they've done really well as a team, and referring specifically to his technical team, which says a lot about what he's trying to do. He's trying to build a name for himself. You don't come to Africa to stay. Nobody does that.
Okay. For time, let me bring in Usbonelo. Usbonelo, welcome to the show.
Oh, welcome. Sanibona bekhaya.
Hi man, sakubona nawe. Usbonelo. Tell me, where do you think Sundowns are sitting? How do you feel about them? And how do you feel about their future?
Mina into engibheke Sundowns ngabona team ongeke iphinde ibuyele emuva de ukubona ngakhona la team ngithatha ama team nje ongaphesheya ngisayithatha team encane la team, so ngikhompyutha nabo Barcelona Madrid ngeke vele nginike la level kodwa mina the way esingikhompyutha ngakho ikhompyutha njengamo Madrid Barcelona ngoba angibhekanga futhi ukuthi ingaphinda iwe noma kafika muphi coach lapha kahle kahle ngikutshele Sundowns izohlezi the best and nase Africa yabona futhi yamanje ithatha istar futhi ukuthatha kule star lesi seyinkinga futhi ngoba le star izofuna ukusidefender ukuthi sibuye la ekhaya ukuthi namathimba la ekhaya khona ukubona manje ukuthi bafethu kahle kahle lento ukusana ama player imported nayibona ukuthi iSundowns yenzani manje izodevelopa vele Sundowns phela manje iSundowns team enkulu sayithathi angisayicompete mina nePirates neChiefs Kaizer Chiefs fan kodwa the way ngibona ngakhona iSundowns into yabo seyihamba kahle kakhulu ngeke iphinde ibuyele emuva Sundowns bafo until asingakhulumi ngeminyaka mina ngithanda the way yenza ngakhona imilenze kanje waya ibonile into ibonile ukuthi amathimba angaphesheya ukuthi yenza kanjani njengoba ngizwe kunomunye uJordan bangenile athi ya iSCAF Sundowns hey umuntu vele ubuya kubo Chelsea and lento bayayibona nawe ukuthi uqinisile la mjida lento ekhulumayo iyona akusi team ezophinda ihlale phansi le team waya angazi ukuthi izofika kuphi kodwa niyazi ukuthi icompetition izohlezi khona vele la ekhaya kodwa iSundowns isizothopa bafu
Maf mina ithi ukubuza then kulama team lawo alandela iSundowns is it going to take ukuthi leyo team ispende boma 200 million every year for them to cash Sundowns or is it something engenzeka maybe over 10 years ikhona team maybe that's building slowly ingayibambi Sundowns
kunenye team nokukhala ngayo bafo like iStellenbosch yabona iStellenbosch enye team right kakhulu inkinga yayo nayo iyadayisa ama player akusinto into enhle kodwa mina ngibona ngakhona sure iStellenbosch is good yakhona udevelop ama player and ayilahli vele istretcher sayo ihlezi yabona ukuthi ihamba kahle kanjani kodwa akusinto ngiyithandile if mingadayisa ama players iStellenbosch mhlawumbe mizothi ileague mizoyichaser or manje sine league so the way yenza ngakhona ayibonisa ukuthi izoyithatha ileague yabona ngoba iStellenbosch enye team enemali kodwa the way yenza ngakhona melanga idayisa ama player ngalendlela le idayisa ngakhona same time ihambise ama best wow yabona ngoba la team yakhona ukucompete ngoba bengithi ngibheka like kunenye team encane like iBidvest mara isekho la yathatha ileague ngayo lendlela kanje ngoba mecompete ayizange yavumela like ama team maningi ayithathela ama player ngalo ndlela not ukuthi mengafuni ukwathengisa like abo vilakazi abo bani labo ngaleso sikhathi kodwa i-team ethatha ileague yakhona ukuba release lo majita uyabona bafo
that's why ngibuza ngoba wabona like for example iVert you could argue ukuthi iVert was smart ngale way by winning a corner league so is it possible for a team ukuthi babe smart yazi batopa lena bayenza team bakhi team or will it take uRupert keep wallet
bafo kuzoba nzima kakhulu for mina ngoba ame support eKaizer Chiefs bafo and ngiyabona ukuthi mhlawumbe singakhala sikhale ngithi sizoyithatha ileague ngomlomo kodwa mina bengithi ngibheka iSundowns la ikhona sesenomsebenzi omningi ukuthi sifike lapha kule Sundowns bafo uyabona sharp i-development iyafuneka vele sikhulise umzansi njengoba i-development ikhula so iSundowns manje bafo iSundowns is a class ayisasebenzi ngaloko sharp kodwa yiyo i-team kumele ivuse i-development ngoba lathi vele sesibheke yona phela la emzansi ukuthi no hayi bangasibulalela ibhola labantu hawu ngoba uyabona la ku-international yibo abasiphethele i-international so akumelanga abadlalise vele abantu bangaphesheya kuphela so kuyafuneka ukuthi badevelophe lana bafana bebe strong man uyabona ngiyafisa kanjalo bafo man hayi no
okay no Spanelo, thank you so much let me go to Siyabonga welcome to the show how are you
sawubona uthi
how are you my brother all right umnandi
I'm good and you
mina ngi-champion ngi-champion every day for the next year ngizobe ngimnandi it's fine Spanelo, what do you think about Sundowns right now and then nokuthi izoyaphi Sundowns where do you see it going
OT, I think Sundowns as a team, they have invested a lot. And I feel like we are in a situation where now it is about to come right, you know. everything is falling to the right place. I love the coach. I love his atmosphere and attitude. I think he's in love with the players. Yeah, in terms of direction, I think we're in the right place. I mean, we are two games away to win CAF, and we're going to the Club World Cup. I mean, that was always the dream of the team, to not just only compete locally and in the continent, but all over the world. And the team is coming through, and that took a lot of effort and working hard and investment. I believe that because Sundowns is not only the big team in South Africa, they are the teams which can do the same. You just have to identify the right players, because you can say a lot from how the team signs its players. You see, when the Sundown signs a player, we need a player who is ready to play.
Yeah.
We don't have time to go to the development. I know that some people, are saying that Sundowns has to use that development, but there's no room for them. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but imagine this. I'm putting Mabena. How am I going to fill in Mabena in a Club World Cup match against Dortmund? I don't have time to raise them. I need to buy players like Basadil, who I will polish them a little, and they will be ready to play. Because development players are time consuming, because they need to learn, fill in with the team. But yeah, I think the direction is perfect. We're on the right path.
I want to ask you about that. Konabantu that could argue that Uchoze ukoni looked at development player because he was there for 3 years, and maybe Begana Leo trust to know you've been here for a while, you've won the trophies, we trust you. Do you think that if Ukado also maybe can stay for 3, 4, 5 years, let's say, is there a place where Sundowns and maybe greater football, we trust him enough would that happen at Sundowns now, or the pressure of the Club World Cup and not that is still going to be too much?
It's going to be difficult, because what about Sundowns? It's a moving train.
Yeah.
We don't have a time to nurse, But I believe that the problem is that we have game congestions this year, so we couldn't fill in young players because every match was important,
Yeah.
We have Carling Peklebul, we have the league, and we have CAF. So I think it's going to be difficult, especially after coming after the Club World Cup, because now players have the players from the development. I think they have really, really big shoes to fill, especially those who are offensive, like Abolitlaku, Abo Mabena, and Abo Masego, because in that area we often go overseas to look those type of players.
Yeah.
Or take players who already matured, such as Jaden Adams, Peter Shalulile. So yeah, I think it is going to be difficult for the boys. But in the defense, there might be a chance, because if you notice, OT, we always have some shaky problems in the defense in our back four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think.
No, finish off. Just give me that last statement, then I'll bring in Shem.
Okay, yeah, but we know I might already, congratulate Jose Rivero to be able to bring those young boys from the development. But I've always said, do what works for you. We invest so much in our team to keep it successful, and we do that by buying players. If Orlando Pirates can afford to take their development players and put them in the team, yes, they can do, but how far are they going to take you? You can't always, when you are putting Kota and Mufugeng, give them the huge responsibility that now they must carry the team in this year. Give them time to mature.
Yeah. Okay. For time, I'm going to jump in. Let me bring in ASAP Shambe.
Thank you.
Ja Rastafari.
Ja Rastafari. Bomboclat.
Yeah, man. What you say, Oti? Are you leaving, King?
Ay, man, mina ngimnandi, man. Le feeling, man. It just doesn't want to wear off. Shembe, tell me about your team. How do you feel about where your team is sitting right now and how everything is running? And how do you feel about the future of Sundowns?
Sure, Mr. Oti. Mr. Oti, I think Mamelodi Sundowns is building up to that place that we've been slowly working ourselves up to. We've had seasons where we felt like this is the season where we finally crossed the line, and it feels like this is now, we're at that moment now, to finally get to experience that sense of euphoria, and I think once we finally cross that line, because we will, then the goals change. You set goals and you set objectives, and then once you've achieved those goals and objectives, then you look around and you find, okay, what are the areas of improvement? Because once you get to a certain place, that's not the end. It's like money. Money is not the end. It's a means to an end, Mr. Otsi. So once you get yourself into those places, then you need to continuously find places of improvement, because it's not only about reaching those goals, but it's about going to the next level, because it's easy to achieve something great, but the hardest part is about maintaining the consistency of being at that level, Mr. Otsi. And I think the next challenge for Mamelodi Sundowns, once we cross that line, is going to be maintaining that level of consistency. Something like an Ahly, where we've seen Ahly not necessarily play the best football, but because the overall objective is to maintain consistency of achievements, then we see them hitting those benchmarks. And I think we're going to see the same thing at Mamelodi Sundowns, Mr. Otsi, because success brings new problems, and those new problems are going to need new answers, and I think that's where the joy in life comes from, the pursuit of finding the answers of things, not necessarily finding the answer, but the pursuit and the attempt, because that's where you find yourself. You feel alive because you fail, you do well, you have to come back and stress test your ideas, the holistic concepts. I think South Africans tend to only look at the end goal, but you also need to look at how you build yourself to get to those places. And I think that's what makes this thing so beautiful, Mr. Otsi, is we're watching this team constantly ask themselves, okay, how do we find solutions to these new problems, Mr. Otsi, that we're going to be facing, And I do think that with Mamelodi Sundowns, right now our structure is loosely based in bringing in really experienced players from abroad and within the PSL itself. But I do think us going into a place where we're now asking ourselves how the rest of the PSL teams, Mr. Otsi, because fair by a chance, but this is not fair, it's a farmers league, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do?
But can I ask you here, because just for time, I want to ask you, I see you speaking about the levels and you're speaking about Ahly. I want to ask you an unfair question. Do you think that Sundowns, Ahly, and some of the other teams may come to a point where they transcend their leagues, and we might see something like a proper AFL coming back again, just to give them something different? Because Club World Cup is going to be every 4 years, this expanded version. Otherwise, it's going to be Intercontinental Cup with one. What does Sundowns do? Do they transcend that thing again? Do we see AFLs coming back?
Yes, Mr. Otsi, I think your question is it's deeper than football. That question that you just asked me, because you basically asked me what is the evolution of capitalism? And capitalism always eats itself from the inside. I do see I do see the elites wanting to break away, Mr. Otsi, and forming this place where they can make the most amount of money that they can possibly. Football is no longer the type of football that is cooling out. At the end of the day, this is a capitalist system, Mr. Otsi, and I do think that they are going to ask themselves, how do we put African football in that space where it is just respectable as the same level as European football? And I do think then the answers will be found in a capitalistic space and not in a for the love of the game thing that we are all still attached to, Mr. Otsi. So I do see us breaking. I do see this thing happening where the elites of African football are playing bodwa, Mr. Otsi. And I don't know if we're ready for that as fans. I don't know if we're ready to lose the game, just like the fans in England have lost the game to capitalism. Like football was a blue collar thing, but that's no longer there, Mr. Otsi. So we at the end of the day, CAF is run by an incredible capitalist. So I do see him making plans and figuring out how do we get African football to that place. But just to close it off, Mr. Otsi,
Very good, yeah.
Let's bully OJ Agent to start that Substack, Mr. Otsi. I was having this chat with him again today. Yeah, can we please just bully Agent to start writing some stuff about football?
I'm going to release one of his stuff just now, possibly tomorrow. But no, thank you so much, Shembe, guys. We're going to go into the Kaizer Chiefs portion of this discussion. So if you want to speak about Kaizer Chiefs, please jump in. The one thing that I will say, honestly speaking, about Mamelodi Sundowns and where I give them props is that I think they showed this season that there's no right answer in football. There's no one way to do something. They changed their entire organization. They're going in a completely different direction. Yet they did it in such a way that it still made sense at the end of the day, which is the biggest thing. Others buy change half big changes and things like that. Whereas Sundowns comes in and says, guys, we're changing, but then we're going to make sure that we've got guardrails. We're going to make sure that we've got a route to go through. And that's what I think Sundowns has done so well. But in any case, let me bring in Montana. Champ.
Hey, champion. How's it?
Man, champ, man. How do you feel by champ, man?
I feel like a king, like a president. About Cyril Ramaphosa. I feel like everything. I'm over the moon. Watch you, Donald. I'm over the moon.
Montana.
It feels good to be a champ.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I want to get into it too. I want to ask you, Kaizer Chiefs, how do you feel about where we are? How do you feel about where we are going? How's next season going to turn out? Those are the two questions I want to ask you.
Football is a funny sport. It's really funny sport. One moment it can change the whole dynamics and the way that we thought football. We knew how to analyze the football. I think that win has changed a whole lot of dimension in terms of how we thought things are gonna pan out, because if we didn't win that cup, I think we would have been speaking about the whole book, 1,000 pages. But now that one win has changed the book to that's a smaller nyana book, 10 pages. There's nothing much we're gonna say. I think OT, if we can be true, but we must not be phased, Galawin, if we can be honest, as Chiefs fans. There's a lot of work we need to do with Kaizer Chiefs. And this is the right time to address it, because amavalo aphansi ngoku we are not panicking as before. So this is the right moment for our team to grow and to rectify those mistakes that we're complaining about all the season. The season is not over yet. I think the signings that we were expecting to get, I think this is now the time to get those signings, because I think we have a little foundation that now we laid, because it change any team, because psychologically ngokufense, because that thing yobana we are cursed, I think on the back mind of the players, I think it was working at some point, but hey man, we're doing everything. I think this casting, even us as fans, we were starting to believe that, hey, maybe there was a sangoma that was not paid. Those things. But now, all those things are thrown out of the window.
Yeah.
We believe that we can win anything that we want, because this Nedbank Cup has break all the negativity and all those stuff. Now we're starting to be positive. Even our rivals are starting to respect us, because remember, OT, that when we were playing Sundowns, nobody gave us a chance. We were just a team, 6-0, 5-0, but we beat Sundowns. We came to Pirates, everybody was saying, no, this cup is for Pirates, and we know it's going to be a Jose Rovero, his last dance or what, but we made them, they didn't dance with the one that were dancing. We made them to what?
No, finish
Yes,
that sentence.
okay.
I want to ask you something.
Okay, at the table they've changed now, because going to new season, the mindset of the players and the opposition is changing now. We're no longer gonna go to Kwama Derby, El Clasico against the Sundowns with that. Oh, we're gonna beat Chiefs 3-0, we're gonna win the cup. It's obvious. There's no obvious now. But if we could have lost that Nedbank, it was still gonna be the same thing. Oh, Chiefs, what, Chiefs this.
But I want to ask you very quickly. Hey, your team has a history of getting to right emnyango, and when we're supposed to kuvula umnyango, we then somehow sabotage. So, for example, Ernst Middendorp finishes number 2, and then we fire him and we start over. Gavin Hunt gets to the quarterfinals, we fire him, we start over. Atazwane finishes 5th, we start over. Can you trust your team, manje, ukuthi next season with this Nedbank they're going to do right?
OT, everything is possible on our team. And I think one of those things is the loyalty from your fans. Sometimes when you have that loyal girlfriend, even if you abuse that girlfriend, you don't see yourself as an abuser, because you are very loved. So I think at some point, even as fans, we love that team too much, and that's why we have a 10-year drought. Winning our cup is because of that love. So that love has blinded management, the Kaizer Chiefs. Sometimes we need to be honest. As much as we love Kaizer Chiefs, but at some point, that love that we have for the team has blinded the team to think that there's nothing wrong with that team, and they are doing into it right. But at the end of the day, they were not doing it right. I think we'll be shooting ourselves in the leg if we can fire Unapi. Now we'll be going back to square one, because we know what happened. Go Stuart Baxter, same thing.
Yeah.
The list is endless.
Yeah.
So I think. Okay.
Time. What that? I need to bring it up, Chobo. Prachobo.
My brother.
How are you, Prachobo?
I'm good, Mr. Oti. How are you?
I'm sitting here with Kaizer Chiefs. I'm so happy. I've got a title. I'm a champion. But then I think to myself, hey, is this a championship a bandage over a broken leg? And where do you think Chiefs is sitting right now? Where do you think they're going to go forward?
Yeah. Firstly, I would like to correct something. People are saying they've won 5 trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mustn't go around saying they've won 5 trophies.
Oh.
One of the trophies that they won 3 times, it takes only 9 games. So they mustn't make too much noise. Anyway, I just hope all this fiasco that was going on with this season, it ends, you know.
Guys, can you please mute when you come in? Please mute on the panel so we can just give the person who's speaking some space. Sorry about that, but we can carry on.
Yeah. So my point is, I just hope whatever that was happening this season, it ends this season. Because I can even tell you now, don't be surprised you see at the end of the season, Chiefs would be number 5. You know, and then because of all the fiasco, a lot has been happening, my brother. I've been watching everything. You understand? A lot has been happening. I just hope it ends so they can start to run a team the way they're supposed to run it.
Yeah.
You understand? Where you're going to see real football, real results. You understand? Chiefs winning games that they're supposed to win, not some company being in between and making sure that they're making money. You understand? That's my concern because of now. This is going to kill our football. It's not only me. A lot of people can see what was happening. Even now, I'm telling you, don't be surprised. Chiefs is going to end this season being number 5.
Can I just ask something, Pratom? Do you trust Chiefs management to do anything different than what they've done over the 10 years or 9 years?
Listen, for now, their back is against the wall. They don't have a choice, you know.
Okay.
I think they've managed to acquire a lot of money now. You know, if you think loud with those T-shirts that they've just introduced now, if they manage to sell 100,000 of them, they obviously have above 200 million that they made within 4 days with those T-shirts. So they don't have a problem with money now. But another thing that is very important, OT, with them is that they've experienced this thing of having a most expensive player to find that he's the highest player, is the only highest paid player in the team. You know, that create a very bad impression and a bad dressing room. So I just hope them and Nabi, they understand that fact. They make sure that whoever that they bring, their wage bill, it's in a good bracket that it can always make sure that they've got a good dressing room relationship with everyone. Because of, you know, once you're having somebody who's earning 1 million, so I just hope, but from what I know and what I've seen, obviously I see them going to do things differently and make sure that we've got a strong team.
But can they control the wage bill at this point? Because if they're going to get the players that are rumored to go and be that we're gonna go fetch, the wage bill is gonna balloon even more. I mean, if you look at Abu Fiston Maela, if I'm just using them as names, Fiston Maela, Faisal Aloum, there are other people that we point to in the league and outside of the league. Can they control the wage bill there, or is it just gonna balloon up to a point? If you look at it that way.
The experience has taught them, my brother. They've done it before, you know, with certain players. They saw exactly what happened. You understand? I don't see them risking to that far. The only thing that they can do, they can bring more players, you know, with good quality, but very affordable. Like, check the balance at Sundowns. The wage bill is very balanced. We understand. Hence, they are able to run the team smoothly. But having one player earning more than the rest of the team, can you imagine somebody earning more than was this Nedbank campaign, Nedbank Cup?
Yeah.
And then the league on its own. We understand. We realize that we're paying for this guy. I mean, whatever is earning, it's what the league. If we win the league, it's supposed to go to him alone. You understand? You can't run a team.
Okay.
That's my take. And I wouldn't love to see that happening because of I saw what happened. After Billiard, it was that short one.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad, my brother. You can't have a team like that.
For time, I'm going to jump in. Let me bring in CJ. CJ, showstopper.
Alala.
CJ, you know, the weight of the trophy and the medals are still on us. But I'm going to ask you now, did the Nedbank Cup change anything as to how you view the team and where the team is going to go? How do you view Chiefs right now?
Look, I think I still maintain my stance. I don't think the Nedbank Cup has changed anything. I still said that if Nabi can finish in the top 8, top 6, top 5, let's keep him. He has given us a final, a semi-final, and a final, which is equivalent and a little bit above than the previous coach that we fired. So I think if we could have fired Arthur Zwane for giving us 2 semi-finals, of which
And the number
one
5
of those
finish.
and the number 5 finish, taking a team that barely could have barely made it to the top 8 in the previous season with Stuart Baxter. You must understand it took Arthur on the last 2 games to make it to the top 8 in order for him to play the top 8 and be robbed by Sundowns the next year. So no, let's call it what it was. Arthur Zwane was robbed. It's simple and clear, and we're not going to nasty people's feelings here. Now they know that. Now they know offsides. When Billiard, when the Springbok ran in the center was pulling people, they didn't know that there was VR. But anyway, I'm not gonna say that. So I think Nabi, for me, the decision to make him stay for the next season is very crucial. I'll tell you why. This year he worked with players that he found in the club, which has been the no coach in except Steve has actually went into a season with players that he has accumulated and sought after and was involved in them bringing in and start the season with. Majority of the coaches had to work with players they found in the club. Your Gavin Hunt, your Arthur Zwane, and when I thought Chiefs was going to keep Arthur Zwane is the season they let him go, and yet they have players that they were profiling with Arthur Zwane that they gave to Ntseki and Johnson to coach, which for me I thought was a bit of a tough idea. They should have let Arthur Zwane and then judge him on that season. And I think now we are entering into that particular season with Nabi, where he can now engage with him, the type of football he wants to play, the type of quality, the type of players he needs to play that football. That he can have confidence in resting his ideas and his plan with, knowing that these players have the capacity to execute it very well. You know, now he knows which player is not capable of doing what. He knows this type of football that maybe that's why he was a bit stubborn with his football, to ensure that so that he can see and he can get to say, I have given Cross 1,000 times to be the left wing back. I know that must go forward and come back. He is not that type of a player, but I need a player who possesses those qualities, because that's the type of football I want to play, that I think Chiefs will need moving forward. So I think for me, this is the season where I think Nabi has proven himself why he should stay. He's done enough for us to convince us to say, and convince management to say, keep me for another season. Then give me the players that I need. I've showed you the type of football that I want to play. This is why it didn't work, because of I did not have this particular quality of players. So I think for me, this is
just for the last minute here, I want to ask you 2 questions. Number 1, can an old dog learn new tricks? And I'm talking about Kaizer Chiefs management. And then number 2, should Nabi accept local help, or a local advisor, or a local presence on his bench? Would that help?
Look, after listening to the players, you know, they are. I mean, I listened to Caleb telling telling Radio 2000. I mean, what Nkosi Ndipile Ngcobo said, that was actually the game changer into winning the Nedbank Cup, you know. I think there's, I think maybe, but I also think there are players that are playing that role that I think now Nabi has maybe probably learned to listen to them, that can speak to each other, that can do venture into a space with players that the coach cannot venture with them, you know.
Mm.
And I liked what Nkosi Ndipile Ngcobo said, and it was very profound that actually
Okay.
made the team to actually refocus and actually grab this Nedbank Cup. Finally, Mr. Oti, I want to say this,
Very
and I know
quickly.
that very quickly. History tells us that a certain team that wears yellow struggles in the final with teams that are determined to win, come low or high waters. I'm going to say that that's it. That's what I'm going to say. History tells us when everything is win-win, no choice. But as
Yeah.
Nkosi Ndipile Ngcobo said, if there's one door, they struggle with teams
Okay.
that want to burst out of the door. Alala, we are going
Time,
to see. We are going
time,
to see.
time. Let me bring it to Vuya. Vuya, welcome to the show. Vuya, are you with me?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, there we go. Welcome, my brother.
Yeah, I know. I wish you all the best for next season, OT. Sundowns has done well
Yeah.
with a new technical team, but I think the core of Sundowns, the sporting director,
Mm.
they structure the team very, very well.
Mm.
I think for me, now on my side, not because of I'm supporting Sundowns, we're still going to continue next season, especially with the league.
Yeah.
We will continue next season.
Mm.
I'm sure about that. But let's see OT with signing and everything, because you need to sign players. I don't
Mm.
know Leo chapter but I think you need to sign certain players to aid your team.
Mm.
Because if you look at the rate of scoring goals is very, very low.
Mm.
So yeah, you need to sign, you need to add something for more, my brother, so that your team can remember at beginning of the season. I think you record that one. I say your coach might finish as top 8.
Mm.
I say in the beginning of season, you ask all of us, okay, guys, let's say who's going to finish as second or as number 1. I say Sundowns number 1, Orlando Pirates number 2. I'm not sure. Oh, Stellenbosch number 3, but I'm not sure about the others who was. But I will go and check what did I say last time. But your coach, I think, is got a chance to is number 8 if you won the next 2 games.
Can I ask you, Vuyo? I just want to ask you, what can Chiefs learn from the other teams? Like you've mentioned now, Sundowns, Pirates, and Stellenbosch. What is something that you think, or some things that you think could work at Kaizer Chiefs that they could steal from these other clubs?
Rule number 1, OT. In their best games, they need to use most to boost confidence. Kuma best games. Kulama games are what are 8 games. And take that confidence by using one, because this thing we can do it. They must have a belief, because now football ikhulile OT. Inama football analyzer ina yonke lento leyo. So they can watch ama games or previous basebenzise wona, but into eninidayo for mina ukwendlula everything else, a striker OT. A striker is able to score at least 9 goals per season if you actually on my side, I think because of we can't see Umati adlala kahle namhlanje. The next 2 games will be adropile.
Yeah.
They need to have questions with why you dropile, why ungadlali. Because of that team, it's a team but demand OT. Each and every game is important. There's no small team. Aiki gaming and aiki gaming cool. Only ama games they need to treat it trade, because of now the team has been losing OT. Angeke lose Richards Bay, it lose Colin Arrows. No. These players, they need to come to the party.
Do you think that this management, for the last minute here, do you think that this management can do that? Or do we need to get new people, nagu management, to implement these things you're speaking about?
I think also one lapang management yafuneka. ozokhona ukusi-edela i-value. The likes of Dr. Kumali came back, bamnikeza leyo position ukuthi can you add something, sir? Because you know the structure of the team, and the team need to set goals and a new structure, because player they are young and promising, but Ungcobo is playing. But when are you going to see Ungcobo playing each and every game as a very, very winning award? Because it's been a while. It's talented, but the talent about what give Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
So there's certain questions are relevant to each and every player. Can you help the team to grow, say, or someone else will help the team?
Okay. For time, I'm gonna jump in. Let me bring in Willis. Willis. Wills.
OT.
How are you, my brother?
I'm easy, man. How are you?
I'm good. Tell me about. Yeah.
Pardon?
You wanted to say something?
No, nothing, man. OT.
Oh no, I wanted to ask you, Chiefs. How do you think of where Chiefs is right now? Where do you think Chiefs is in the right direction going forward? What do you think of Chiefs right now?
I just wanna firstly congratulate Amachita, the under 20.
Oh
for
yes,
the final.
final.
Let's hope they're gonna make the country proud. Before we jump into the Kaizer Chiefs, I just wanna say, shout out to the young boys. They are really showing up, and shout out to TDC. TDC is actually really doing a great job for Ipola Letu Lamzans. So it's a great initiative, and it's a great thing. And jumping back to Kaizer Chiefs and Ipola Lasemzans, I wouldn't really be specific to Kaizer Chiefs, but I would say in general, like in terms of football, I think we need to relook at everything and try and copy what Mamelodi Sundowns is doing in terms of the high level football that they actually trying to put themselves into.
Yeah.
Because if Ubona Mamelodi Sundowns, the way how they're structuring their team, the way how they're structuring their management, the way they're focusing into high level football, it shows they want to change the way how African football has been defined for the past 20 years or 50 years. I think for Kaizer Chiefs specifically, Gugabili Kaizer Chiefs, a minute you would say, hey, Kaizer Chiefs is a minute you be like, hey, Kaizer Chiefs now. So there's still like doubts the way how they.
Yeah.
But I think maybe Nabi is gonna get it right. Maybe probably next season. I think now Nabi just need to try. Would say go top 8. Then next season, let's try and rebuild. Siben structure is right in terms of the philosophy that we wanna play. Which kind of players that I wanna use. These players that I have, Udlalanjan, and how I'm going to utilize that player. Because if you look at players like Bosamgelo Zwane, I feel like Osamgelo Zwane, you can even convert Osamgelo Zwane to your deep line playmaker. The way how they changed Upilo, go AC Milan. Because we remember Upilo was an attacking midfield, but they changed him, would say, Pilo control the tempo of the game. And if you look at the football, listen now, your manje, it's a positional play football or type of game. We have your Rodri, we have your Chanalonos, you have your Pedris. So let's try and utilize Badlali to their best level of the game. I think Onabi need to identify the way how these players they are. But himself, he needs to understand is this type of a player. Let me play him this way. Mfundo Vilakazi is this type of a player. Let me improve him in this way. And another problem, we as fans, we put so much pressure into the coaches and all of those things with the media. The coach are better, the coach in because it also affects the performance of the coach and the players as well. Because we criticize them a lot. Let's be patient and try to understand where is the coach trying to head into.
Yeah.
I think in that way, we need a bit of respect as well, Nazi, as we are fans. As much as we need trophies, but let's try and respect the coach. Let's say for 2-3 months and see what the coach what is trying to do. Because we saw Orlando Pirates, the way how they compiled their team from maybe 3 seasons back until
Yeah.
now. They are trying, but it's difficult for them to win the league against Sundown because Sundown, as much as you Sundown, you're gonna play them, they're gonna beat you. If Sundown wins one leg, they are done with the league. But the question is, how do we improve the level Yalama teams A to? Because the question is, how Kaizer Chiefs and on the Pirates gonna be able to uprise but figure to a level Sundown? And it's not so easy to do that overnight. We just need to be patient enough. Let's work on the football culture because now Santan has so much money, they're gonna just go and buy Vinicius Junior. Even Rodrigo wanna leave Real Madrid, they're gonna go and buy him.
Hey, Mara, really smart. What time? What time I'm gonna jump in, man? Let me go to. For time, I'm gonna jump in for time.
Before I go, man, I think
very quickly.
We need more time into these conversations, man, because
Yeah.
let's not book football based to our teams. Let's look football based to the league because Nyano says France, Sundown is PSG, Sundown is Bayern Munich. They're just winning the league every year.
For time, but for time, Aulis, we're gonna have the open conversations. Pelisi's in Pela now. We'll have a lot of time where we don't have games.
Open conversations. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much, Aulis. Let me bring in December 19th. December 19th, welcome. December 19th. Ongama, can you hear me?
Hello, Mr.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yes, I do.
December 19th. I'm good, thanks to you, my brother. Tell me, let's jump straight in. How do you feel about Chiefs? How do you feel about where Chiefs is going and next season?
I want to first say this again that I'm a Pirates fan, but we need a that is doing well. If you can check the dominance of Sundowns, I can say they owe it to Kaizer Chiefs because the more Kaizer Chiefs perform badly, the more the Sundowns gain more advantage, because if you are to look at the log, let's imagine a situation wherein Chiefs have won their 2 games. If you can check at the log, Sundowns and Pirates were supposed to be somewhere close to each other. So for us to have a shift of teams that a team that wins the league, we need a Chiefs that is performing very well, that is competitive, that can stand against like Chiefs, Sundowns. And then if we have 2-3 teams that Sundowns know I will not collect maximum point, that's the point of departure in ensuring that Sundowns does not take the league again.
But can I ask you something, December 19th? Does it have to be Chiefs? Why must it be Chiefs that makes the league competitive? Why can't Stellenbosch or Skukune become the new Chiefs?
Okay. Chiefs, number one, this is the first one. When we look at Chiefs has got that muscle, looking at the history. It won't be something difficult to say Chiefs they can stand pound to pound to Sundowns. But as for Stellenbosch and they are just coming up, rising, but Chiefs going down. So if Chiefs it's up there, and then now your Stellenbosch comes in, your Skukune comes in. Now we have a balance saying that Sundowns, if maybe has got a potential of losing to the 4 teams, your Pirates, your Chiefs, your Skukune, and your Stellenbosch, losing only 1 game. It changed the complexion of the whole league, you see. But the problem is the walkovers that the Sundowns team have on the big teams that we have. Even Pirates was a victim just not a long time ago with the 4-1. You see, but if we can have only 4 teams that can stop Sundowns, and then our league will take a new direction.
So
And
the
Chiefs
reason
must be part of that.
the reason why I ask is you look at Stellenbosch, pound for pound, they could probably outspend Sundowns if their owners were serious. They could probably outspend Sundowns like this. They could build facilities like this. They've already got a high performance center where they are due to the Stellenbosch what. I think what I'm worried about is that we're waiting for Chiefs to wake up, and if Chiefs doesn't wake up, what happens then?
It's a problem. Look, we had 10 years drought for Kaizer Chiefs, and out of these 10, 7 of those years, Sundowns was taking the league. Do you understand what I'm saying? They had 10 years drought, and out of the 10, 7 Sundowns took the league. You see, so but if Chiefs could really add more fire into their league, more especially on the big teams, we think that the league will take a new direction. The dominance of Sundowns will come to a standstill, you know. Because to be honest, that's why even the Chiefs supporters, they say Chiefs is the country. You know, if Chiefs is not there, there is nothing. We won't see anything different because, like, these other teams, they get to flop with the smaller teams and everything. You see,
Yeah.
and then that all it just make it easier for Sundowns. You know, so we need a strong Chiefs now. This is the message to the management that we need a strong Chiefs. And as for players, I don't know
Very
whether
quickly.
they should promote or buy. I don't know if they should promote or buy, because when they buy, they used to buy the players who are doing well. Your Wunchagas, this one, Siteve, but they
Yeah.
came in and flopped. So we don't know whether they promote or they buy, or they buy players without
Yeah.
names. I don't know, but one
What time?
of those they should consider.
Whatever would have jumped in, but I want to jump in. Guys in the comments, why Chiefs? Why must Chiefs do well for the country to do well? This is what I want to know. Because there was a time where there was no Chiefs, and it was Swallows and Pirates and Bo Amazul. Then Chiefs came in and broke a wall. Is there not a way for another team to break a wall? Ongama, don't worry, I'm going to give you your time. Welcome. Ongama. There we go.
How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm good. Same question to you. How do you feel about where Chiefs is? How do you feel about the things that are happening? And how do you feel about where Chiefs is going?
I think the basic things that we need to note in our is do we understand what Nabi is doing in Kaizer Chiefs first? Do we understand what he's trying to implement into the style of play and what he's explaining to us as supporters?
Yeah.
This kick and pressing and counter pressing football, do we understand and see it into the field of play, whereby players win the ball and then get into the goal scoring opportunities, counter pressing, and get to the goal scoring opportunities? Do we see those things? I think most of the things that I think for us as supporters and for everyone that is in the sporting field, we need to understand that this massive institution have lost the philosophy. Now, we need to build a harmony. So the harmony needs to go hand in hand with all the structures that are on hold, which is taking from the management side and also to the player side, to the player side, to the supporters, and also to the management, and the players. I think another thing that needs to be done by the management, we need to have an administrator there. We need an administrator that will coordinate. They usually say it's a technical director, someone that will have an integrated eye from management and also for the players. So to manage how the team is performing in terms of the output, because for us to see the future, it doesn't only depend in terms of the manager, in terms of the coaches. We need to have the combination of a lot of things, because for me, when I'm looking at how the situation of our team is on OT, I'm looking at the Mamelodi Sundowns, whereby the Mamelodi Sundowns was not at their best level. It took I don't know how many seasons it took for Pitso to make that dangerous Sundowns that it is now. We were busy playing our type of football, and when we were beating Sundowns, but when they got it right, they mastered everything and then they beat everyone. So I think we lost the harmony. We need to build that harmony within our team, and I don't know how long it will take, but we need to build the harmony that will enhance us to take us into the next level. And then we know that we have our team as Kaizer Chiefs, we have Sundowns, and also we have an Orlando Pirates. But I think for me, Orlando Pirates is not at their best level, because I needed khoza to be a little bit more in terms of the years, to make that structure and the philosophy to grow even the years after him. I don't believe that it is the right time for any other coach to come for Orlando Pirates, but it's something that to grow on in our team.
We often speak about Pitso whenever we speak about like Sundowns, but I think sometimes there's that thing. Our Pitso won the league in his first full season. Are we using Pitso's story to give some of these guys time for time's sake? Should Coach Nabi be under pressure to do something that big in his first full season as well? Coach Jose won 2 trophies first season, 2 trophies second season, 1 trophy last season. Should Coach Nabi be under that pressure too, even while getting his players and implementing his strategies?
I think you are mistaken in our team when you're saying that Jose Rivera won two trophies in his first season. I think Jose only won 1 trophy in his first season, if I'm not mistaken.
No, didn't you win the MTN8 and Nedbank? And then he's won those 2 trophies and lost out this year.
I think it was one trophy. 1 trophy. Then the following season, it was 2 trophies. Okay, I'm not sure, but I would have checked into his track record, but I don't believe it's 2 trophies. Okay, no problem. But I truly believe in our team. It's a process. It's a disaster. Something that is in Kaizer Chiefs is a disaster. It requires a lot of time. There was a lot of things that were happening in that team, and it requires time for everyone that is coming into that team to make something that is formidable, that will grow for the next seasons to come. But for me, I do believe that even if we can say, let's say Nabi is going, we bring in Pitso. Pitso, we need time now. You will need time. Maybe you can win as a Nedbank or another black label, and say, I need time to make this team a harmony, because there are a lot of elements within the team in our team. Because when I'm looking at our team, you look at the mistakes the players that are doing week in, week out. You look at the type of injuries that are happening within the team week in, week out. So you need to master the format for the players to balance in terms of the injuries, to balance in terms of the winning philosophy, to balance in everything within the team to go forward in our team.
Okay. For time, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, for time about the jumping, guys. We're going into the last part of the show. We're gonna go to Pirates. I just want to say a couple of things. I think, guys, for me, I've always been somebody who says you don't give somebody things just because. They have to prove themselves to a degree. And unlike a lot of coaches, Coach Nabi got a full season, got a pre-season, and to his credit, he comes back with the Nedbank Cup, which is the trophy which should earn him time. But like when we start comparing to the other guys, I think we do the half comparison. Like Pitso took Sundowns from number 14 to number 9, if I'm not mistaken, in the first few months. Following season, he won the league, you know, and built from that. And I think that's time because Jose Rivero can bring in youngsters and bring in youth, because when he started, he won the 2 trophies, won 2 trophies again, and you've built enough credit in the bank for you to be able to do these things. I'm gonna ask the question again, because for me, for the comments, I think, why must it be Chiefs? Why? Why can't it be any other team that can step up? And I understand about fan bases and things like that, but if we're talking about purely football, are we going to wait another 10 years, let's say? I'm not saying it will be. Are we going to wait another 10 years for Chiefs to get right in order for us to be right with it? Or can't other teams step into the void right now, especially the teams that we look at and they have some of the means? You know, some of the teams are about to die when they had all of the means in the world and never exercised those means, right? We speak about spending. I'll say it again. Stellenbosch could outspend Sundowns easy if they wanted to. Stellenbosch could do everything Sundowns could do and then more if they wanted to. There was a time when Swallows was owned by a European billionaire, Dieter Bock. They could have done what Sundowns has done. The only difference is that at a level of making moves, most of the teams don't want to do what Ntate Motsepe did. And guys, please mute when you come in. Most of the teams don't want to do what Ntate Motsepe did, right? When he came in and he spent money. Now we're creating situations. But anyway, Malume Kuto, welcome. We're going to move on to Paris now.
Mr. Oti.
No, Kire, welcome.
How are you, Mr. Oti?
Man, Malume Kuto, man. It's still, I thought I'd be over it now, but I still feel this champion thing, man.
Sorry, man, for Biza Oti. Unjan champ. Mega City Puti. The sick boy.
Malume Kuto. Go Pirates. Obviously, Pirates is at a very important time right now. Coach Jose is moving on. Maybe there's some big decisions that have to be made. How do you feel about where your club is and where it's going? After an incredible season also, on top of that.
Look, Mr. Oti, I've been thinking hard. And it takes me to Jurgen Klopp sometimes when I think too hard about football, where he says football is the most important thing of the least important things. Hey, we spend energy on this football thing.
Yeah, some of us are paid by football. Kind of.
Yeah. No, even us, we are paid spiritually.
Yeah.
We get peace of mind because of football. But anyway, Pirates has been actually on this trajectory even before Jose. Even before, I know one will then say, am I talking about Jose? Just a better looking Jose. Can I get my LL German?
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe had some serious fashion sense.
Yeah.
He actually does look like Jose if I were bigger to game. Even during Zimbabwe's time, we were doing extremely well. And please don't judge me. I say it was extremely well. There was consistency. We even got a trophy out of it.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at the players we signed and the players we signed under Jose, right? And even before Zimbabwe, there was Coach Micho, right? When you look at the players signed and the systems played, it's actually the same, OT. We were using those fullbacks. There's a specific fullback that we have been looking for a very long time, and we found it in Hoto. When we sign these players who are wingers at their teams, Bolibito, Bo Shandu, Bo Hoto, we sign them looking with they can play as fullbacks, go Pirates. With that very idea, which okay, Lindros actually was playing as a fullback, go Colin Arrows. We signed them thinking, as in, we are going to convert you to play to our system to bomb down that wing. And when you think about the right back who was playing under Coach Micho, who then angazi wenzakalani, he's very similar to Van Rooyen, and he was unbeatable now, which is Dube. Dube was he was very strong before he went to Arrows under that Coach Micho. I just forgot who was his twin partner on the other side, who was very. Oh, I think it was when Mayela was having a great season also, but Mayela uyayiyela. Lapho ke bekayiyela kaMampela before that horrible injury that just ended his career. So we've been attacking Kadi wing, left and right. You understand? We've been trying to see which case ngayenza kanjani lento le. In the midfield, even now with Nemdanjela, we've been playing that wanting that midfielder who's different. This was the first season where singana a proper ball player. It was Gulbamba is telling a man's. This was the first full season. We've been signing about Kolam Lambo. We've been pushing players are like that. You understand? To say okay, from the back. And right now we have. I know it's just one or two games, but we have Abu Slab. You understand? So the process, Mr. OT, even the strikers, the international strikers that have came, they are in the very very same make. Abu Maru, Abu Evanga. There have been so many big strikers. When you look at Abu Radio Pana, Mabasa, and Lipasa, they are made in the same mold. They may have different here and there different attributes, but they are made in the same mold, which is why I say maybe, just maybe, it's not only down to Jose, but the entire team.
Can I ask you, Malumekuzo, as you've painted the picture, Pirates have been successful, but then Ishotakang to make Pirates consistent, maybe top of the league wise, Africa wise. What Ishotakang mana to say for the next 5 years Pirates can win a second star. For the next 5 years Pirates can win 2 leagues, because it seems like your success might have a glass ceiling. If that makes sense.
Not necessarily. And I come back to that to say we had a Zimbabwe who put us number 3, 4. And then we had that one downer season where we were doing the same thing, but then we chased Confed too early. Kabo Mandla Libo Kanakimang, the now successful coach, Fadlu Davids. And unfortunately, business which is my balance. And the very same season, Mr. OT, I'm checking time. The very same season, the very same thing that happened that season is what happened this season. We could have been to the Champions League that season, but when we lost that final in Nigeria, it broke those boys. When they came here, they did not want to play for the rest of. They were like C-sharp. If you check the point difference when we finished number 4, I think we lost the last 3 or 4 games. We're like C-sharp, which is what happened even this season. This season, Mr. OT was a success. I still say, had it not been for that Pyramids loss, the league would not be over, Mr. OT. And I know most people can see it, they saw it. So what's missing? Since you got a coach who could get us closer in terms of number 2, right now, we're going to get a coach who's going to get us over the line. And when I say over the line, Mr. OT, at some point, Liverpool had 18 league titles. 18. And Man United had 8. Today they have 2020. Thank you, Mr. OT.
Let me go to Cup.
It can turn at any point.
Okay. Let me bring in Tapani. Tapani, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I'm Nandi. Tell me, what do you think of Pirates? Where it is, how everything is going, things are changing, where it's going to the future?
Hey, angiqale ngishaye disclaimer kuqala ukuthi ngiyikhozi kahle kahle mara omakhelwane nabo I've been looking at them. Banter aside,
yeah,
I feel like Jose came in and was like what you call a serial winner. Which even when things were not going so well, he was able to produce a trophy or 2.
Yeah.
But then what he didn't have was the formula for the league. And also the games that he lost were like important games, of which was very, very detrimental to their run in many cases. Because now, even when you lose, when you're chasing the league, you cannot lose like convincingly. You have to lose a game that you see, okay, we slipped up there, and that was it. Let's move on from that. So now imagine now you are incurring a loss that is gonna be like 1-0 first half, 2-0 second half. It shows Guti you were dominated, and that morale is gonna die from the players, you know. So now it's actually a very tricky situation, because for me, if the guy was staying with Jose, I feel like he has bought himself enough time and voice to actually say, since I've been working here maybe for the past 3 seasons, this is what I've been able to achieve. And for me to be able to chase the league and chase it convincingly, mhlambe we need to bolster the squad, because now the problem we have with those sorts of giants is that we are being sentimental. Because I'm sure Pirates fans now bakhona abangaboni ukuthi mhlambe there is something that could be offered that is more than what Hoto is offering, that is more than what Umakhopa is offering. So for you to be consistent in terms of chasing the league, you have to know ukuthi someone else could be doing this thing better than the one esimbona into manje. So we have to go and look for that person for us to be able to compete, because to some degree, if we're being realistic, what we've had now is not working out. He's here, he's playing good, he's giving us some goals somehow, but is he winning us the ultimate thing we are chasing? And the answer is no. So now if we are being sentimental like that, that means you're not going to move forward. So in my opinion, I feel like Umchita, if he was staying, he was going to have enough voice to say that I want a striker, kanje, you see, that are going to help me to move from this point that I'm here now. Because maybe it was going to be another season whereby he's going to bottle the league, and then he's going to say, here's the Nedbank Cup, here's the thingy, here's an MTN.
Again, there you go.
Yeah. And also it goes back to that thing of Pirates fans. I don't feel like Pirates fans are vocal and demanding enough to the club. Because as Kaizer Chiefs fans, we are seen as hooligans, and people talk too much whenever we voice out what we want the club to do. You know, I don't think I've had a Pirates fan saying that we want the league, that's what we want, and make it vocal even to the players and maybe to the media and whatnot. They always say we remain humble. For how long? For how long?
I want to ask you, you bring up a very good point there. When a new coach comes into Pirates, will that coach be under pressure to, at the very least, do what Jose did? Or will Pirates again maybe start from scratch with this non-vocal thing that they do at Pirates that you're mentioning?
The thing is that with the coach that's going to come in now, they are going to come in and use the same strategy of being a serial winner. Get 1 trophy or 2. I know the fans are going to be happy. And that's how they're going to buy themselves time. They are not going to be like under pressure, as you are saying, to win something that is going to be of huge magnitude. You know? Because now, for example, you've got players that went to the Champions League semi-final that couldn't finish or win the league. You know? Do you think you are still going to be able to motivate them to bring back the hunger that they had this season? If you can, it's going to be a huge milestone for you to achieve as a coach. It's going to be hard. I don't want to lie. It is going to be hard. We've seen teams winning the league or winning whatever milestone and then falling off because they've kept the same structure thinking that it's going to work out. But now you can have players that are good, but if they are not motivated, they are not willing to stick together and be like, we are still going to take the mentality and move it on to the next season. That is going to be a problem. So the coach that's going to come.
I want to ask you for the last. I want to ask you for the last 30 seconds. Sorry. For the last 30 seconds here, I want to ask you: is it possible? What does Pirates need to take them over the line?
I think identifying the right players to build the club around moving forward would be what is needed at the moment. Maybe the coach can come in and work with whatever is there at Pirates now, but also in the season that they're gonna play, he must be able to identify who's pulling the team forward and who's pulling the team backwards. Because now, you know, Guti Pirates has been engulfed by scandals of egos and whatnot in that dressing room. You know, So if you are able to monitor that, see who's pulling forward, who's pulling backwards, then work from that while you try to be a serial winner maybe for the 2025-26 or whatever the next season that we're going to start now. So it's going to be something of that sort.
For time, I'm going to jump in. I want to bring in Agent. Agent, welcome, my brother.
Do you mind going to the next speaker? I'll come in.
Okay, let me go to Caesar. Caesar, welcome to the show. How are you? Caesar?
Hello.
Caesar, welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Caesar, what do you think about Pirates? Where it's sitting right now, the future Gutiapi, all of that. How do you feel about Pirates right now?
Okay, yabona puto amne. We future Pirates right now. Yabo. There is a lot to be discussed there. Yabo. So, and with our coach Lenyuane right now, mean to my understanding and to my view, khona nesitawuleka khona. Mina ngilifende Pirates yabo. Khona nesitawuleka khona cause lama player lawa vetile coach manje lama youngster lamancane labuya ku DTC lawa lakakhombisa italent lawo adlala uma angena coach Lonyuane manje some of those players won't get in game time. And another thing into lesiyidzinga nje Pirates i-competition yalama player yabo ezikhona lo munye lakhulumile ngabo Khoto nabo Mahop. Yes, uyadlala Khoto and udlala ibhola lehle but uyadzinga ukuthi abe ne competition kuphi egroundini kuma teammates wakhe. Ahlale igame le1 abese benchini nakahlela sebenchini ha observe i-opponent yakhe.
Guys, please mute when you come in. Please mute when you come in. Yeah.
Yabo abe nale competition ukuthi okay if ngena ku pitch ngiyodlala njani cause yena uya creator lapho nalapho ama game abemnanzi but uya egroundini the stamina lomloko uyadlala ama game adlala ama game but if adodlala igame namhla adlala igame kusasa lomloko so yadi ukuthi every time igame time ngiyayithola akana competition yabo namhla uyadi ukuthi okay ngiyodlala lwing kusasa ngiyo strike mangisuka ku strikeeni ngiyodlala kuphi yabo akanayo competition kuphi eclubini lokho sima fans nathi kuyasilimata cause lo muntu loyo ke uyayidlala udlala ibhola egcinise kuyo sometimes no uyibona ibhola abadlala unokuba furious yabo ayikwatele ibhola abadlala why lo muntu loyo ke le bhola sayidlala usodlala ngenhlitiyo lo muntu loyo yabo
Yeah.
bakhona kumfukeng ufite makafika lo mfana wadlala ibhola sayijabulela ibhola yakhe but ngekhamba kwesikhathi uyathola game time njenge player mina edlala ibhola yasemakhaya uma udlala nebantu uyamfunza lo muntu udlala ibhola lenjana ngani if ngathi ukuthi nyalo lo muntu uyongena ngi-opponent yakhe I know ukuthi if ngemark udlala nge-left udlala nge-right yabo okay ngiphume kulama player
before uphuma ngifuna ukubuza. So are you saying ukuthi Pirates kumele iphume yosayina ama player amanye similar to maybe Sundowns mayilanda bo Jordaan Adams, Sundowns mayilanda bo Ribeiro or for leyo competition?
No, I can extend in my player. Okay. My player in now, like as I was saying, ilanze badlali ku DTC yangani.
Yeah.
Labadlali labo ke bakhombisa italent yabo, right? So nabakhombisa italent yabo labafana labo. Kumele babe nalama position ukuthi okay if ngiya pitch ngiyodlala position le. So that le senior player le khona ibe ne competition nalomfana abe ne competition nale senior player. Udo khona lo mfana lo fika nale ngcondo yakhe ebholeni ikhule. Yangivona mina. Because
no mara ngikubuzela ukuthi where iPirates ifuna ama reinforcement ku DDC iSundowns ilanda ama reinforcement eBrazil ilanda ama reinforcement from the other team so mawubheka team you know Umfukeng whoever's behind Umfukeng is not going to match up to Rinazi, Nothemba Zwane on top of Lavabanye. Does Pirates maybe need nabo ukuthi bavule wallet but hey guys, DDC is great, mara funeki quality.
We need to go outside. Yeah, they do need to go outside because maningi ama-experienced players la ingawathola i-Pirates if ingangena deep kuma-pocket wayo uyabo. If aphuma yangaphandle athola ama-player, athola ama-striker, athola ama-midfielder, we can be able ukuthi next season uma iqala i-league sibe naleli themba lokuthi okay, this season like we had maqala i-season besinelithemba ukuthi i-season siyayithatha, right? Ngoba ngiloko naloko sabuyela kuphi kulo number 2 lebesiwenini last season.
Yeah.
Yabo. So we need ukuthi siphume sengaphandle bo international silanze ama player abuya todlala ku Pirates.
Okay. Una 1 minute, you can make the point you're going to make.
Okay. Kule 1 minute leyo ke mina I think ukuthi if coach Lonywana angena.
Yeah.
Mina exciting lami yoba ne pressure man. Lama player akhona lawa kufuna bafunze ibhola yabo badlale abajwayede strategy. Vele kuningi lesafuna akufunze kulabani laba khona ngoba uma swangayi nabo inhloko yabo uyababona le mentality labanayo. Uyabo.
Yeah.
So mina I only wish the best for the Pirates next season and I wish ukuthi ithole coach lo tawuthatha kulama footsteps a Rivero ukuthi siye kuphi ku number 1 yabo.
Okay. No, Caesar, thank you so much. Let me bring you Pilani. Or agent, do you want to come in? Okay, no. Pilani, welcome.
Wuti Kuto is my fighter.
Yeah.
He is that guy. As for his Clone Cup double danger, agent, but anyway, it's fine. Anyway, it's fine. Here's my thing and here's my lens as to where Pirates is right now. We need to have a top-down analysis, you know. So unfortunately, we really have to like use Sundowns as an example again, because Sundowns actually like showed the blueprint and no one is following it. Where when Pitso Mosimane came in when things were really bad. Because prior to him, there was Jordaan Milford. They were flirting with relegation. The very same thing that Chiefs is currently at this point of moment. And then Pitso Mosimane came with a project, and a lot of people were ridiculing him.
Yeah.
And then it had to take Patrice Motsepe to come out and say, guys, this is my guy. This is my guy. He shares the same vision that I do. And with that moment, when was the last time you saw Dr. Ivan Khoza Apuma supporting a Pirates coach in whatever like long-term projects? You know, so when you ask these questions, when you look at this top-down analysis, you need to look at not only the chairman, but also the technical directors to say, okay, this is what we want. These are our main goals in the long term. We need to start with a foundation, because when you look at Pirates and when you look at Sundowns, Pirates is always like looking for like a band-aid solution in terms of looking for coaches to fight the Sundowns, looking for like short-term success and looking for like short-term fixes. Yes, so Jose Rivero it has been successful in terms of like cup competitions, but then in terms of the league, there was a comment that I saw in like one of the lives to say that Sundowns was always two seasons ahead, and the reason why Sundowns was 2 seasons ahead was because their foundations, the Pitso Mosimane's foundation, gave them that gap. You know, so because that foundation is very, very strong, which I feel Pirates does not really have at this moment because of the technical directors and their own motives, which we do not know.
Okay.
It's going to take a very, very long time for Pirates to catch up if the technical directors have this mindset. So it has to start from the technical directors to say, Yazin, this is our intention,
Mm.
and we're going to stick with that intention. And
Can
once that,
can I ask you something though?
yeah,
Does Pirates need an overhaul? The Pirates and Chiefs, do they need an overhaul? Because I know we only look at the past 8 seasons, but if we look at the PSL era, Sundowns has always been the league team. 14 league titles, I think it is, or 15 league titles to their name. Chiefs and Pirates only have 4 each. You know, you look at Africa, yes, Pirates did what it did in 95. They have been consistent in the 30 years, but then now Sundowns have taken over. Do you think that those old dogs from the teams and old cultures can adapt to go and win a league and go and chase a Champions League proper and go and actually win one?
I don't think so.
Well,
I really don't think so, because when you look at the old guard, especially from Chiefs and Pirates, they're too nostalgic. You know, compared to Sundowns, where you see Utlopi pretty much like taking like his own direction, even though Patrice Motsepe has laid that foundation, he's taking it in his own direction, and his direction is towards the future. We're still stuck on the past. You know, so because we're still stuck on the past, we're pretty much being held back. And that being held back, it's not good, man. It really isn't. So I think you're right. I think we do need an overhaul from the technical directors as well. And I also have a hot take of actually Pirates should actually be sold to another private chairman. Because for me, Dr. Ivan Khoza, as much as he's been there in the history, he's also the chairman of the PSL, so there is conflict of interest. So you need to cut that cord. And I think if you can cut that cord, I think Paris is going to fly.
Well, you've still got a minute. So I want to ask you, what is the okay? We've spoken about it now a little bit, but practically, what does that look like for Pirates? Let's say on the pitch to get over. We've spoken about DDC players coming in. We've spoken about the quality of the squad. How does Pirates get over that hump now? Because they win the local trophies, Mara, pushing forward past everything else.
I think it's more of a mentality thing. Because the guy prior to me, when he was speaking, we must go out and sign players. Yes, I know. It's not like fair for us to like compare like our leagues to like European leagues because of like the difference in gap in terms of like the standards. But then you look at what Lamine Yamal is doing from Barcelona. Yeah, and he came in from La Masia, and already two league championships. He recently just won like the treble. So why can't Umufuken do the same thing?
Yeah. Okay.
So then you look at like the mindset of the players as well. Luguti, do they really want this, or is it like more of like a complacency issue? Are they really complacent?
For time, I'm gonna jump in for that point. I'm gonna jump in on that point. I'm seeing somebody asking, Ivan Khoza hardly attends. Guys, it's 80 something. Him and I think they don't go to these games anymore. It's too much. Let me bring it to Teboho.
Sure. How's it?
What do you think about Pirates, where it is right now and its future, where it's going?
I think, firstly, I would like to say we are being hard on Pirates, ne? Let me just say this, right? We've got 4 games left. Let's say hypothetically we win all those games. Sundown wins its game. It means the gap is 6 points. Then you do an evaluation to say, okay, last season the gap was more than 15, if I'm not mistaken, right? So Pirates have
23,
they've managed to cut the gap to 6 points. You look at the game we lost against Sundowns, it was more about tactics, right? So for me, when you look at those elements, you see that Pirates, the reason why they lost the league, it's because of the person who was in charge of Pirates, which is Coach Revell. Ana history of in a league.
Okay.
You understand? So you get to understand to say, if better decisions were made, we could be having a different story.
So do you think that it needs to be does it have to be somebody that has won the league specifically in the PSL, or just in general, coming from a place where they've won the league?
In general, because of when you look at history, you look at someone like Gavin Hunt, right? Gavin Hunt won the league. Sundowns in the league thing, you sit, you plan to say, okay, guys, these are the games that I need to win. I can lose these ones. Through that, you calculate the numbers, it then becomes easy to win the league, right?
Okay.
For me, I think if there's one thing that Pirates did wrong, January, not signing Apollos and issue Saleh. If we had done those deals and we had the manpower, the squad rotation, we could be talking a different story, right? When you look at that, I think we are in the right hands because of the way in which, we all can't be Sundowns. Sundowns has money. Motsepe does not mind going to Argentina. We are not that. So you cannot look at what your neighbor is doing and try to do that where you can't go pound to pound with them. You need to now develop your own strategy, believe in the process, and work towards the process. So the next guy that comes, right, it's very important to say, that's why I'm not fond of Pitso, because of Pitso is not like your Rivero. Pitso is more like getting those quality players, those expensive players, ananako ya coach the juniors. So if Pirates has then developed a strategy to say, we want a connection between our first team and our junior team, and we want to build an all-rounder. You look at the acquisition that they are trying to bring in now. The boys are 23, the boys are 22. So we need to believe in the project and trust me, if those other management things they are solving, it's possible to win the league, even with Sundowns having all the money, because of you don't need to beat Sundowns to win the league. You need to beat the other teams.
I want to ask you something. With that being said, what would you say to somebody that goes, as much as Pirates were saying that it's progress and they're doing well, so one might say that, the history says eight seasons now you haven't won the league, and Linkari Kapu Molimo, but then it's been 8 seasons. Maybe whatever it is at Pirates is not working. Maybe you need to look at it like maybe a Sundowns looked at it a little bit and said, you know what, enough is enough. Maybe we need to make a big change. Do you think that will happen? And is this the perfect time to do it, especially since there aren't that many of the old heads still there?
But look at history. Okay, let's do this, right? You look at the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Mitchell, the way Mitchell left Pirates disrupted a lot of things because of he didn't leave Pirates in the right way, right? However, you look at what the club has been trying to do. The past 2 seasons we've been runners up. Obviously, we got a coach from Spain, Uvaile, which is fine. I think with what we are doing now, next season, if we get a guy who continues with the project, it's not about the coach, but it's about the team and what the team has tried to put across to say, okay, we are gonna do this by buying quality players, going to teams where players are not looking at. Bata, no one was looking at Bata, but we managed to bring Bata to Pirates. Bata performed. Makaula, Babake used to tell me about Makaula, and the next time Amazul. But the technical team, people, scouts, seeing those quality players, bringing him into the teams and making sure that we play well and we win as a team, we'll get there. Even means, that's why Sundowns, take anyone, put them into Sundowns, but we win a league. Because of they can buy the quality players, they've got the money. However, we are not like that. We have the money, but we cannot challenge Sundowns financially. So how do we do it? We need our way of doing things, which is what is happening now. I mean, in the last season we've gotten 4 cups. We've cut the points to 6 points. So when you look at all those things, guys, we are getting there.
For time, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to make this a proper topic. I'd love to see you and Malume Kutso go back and forth. One child or one. Agent, I want to bring you in, but I want to ask you a question off the top. Welcome, my brother.
Hello, my brother.
I want to ask you a question at the top.
Shalom, Oti, shalom first.
Oh, shalom.
How? Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, please
it's
come
automatic shalom. We need trophy. Everything is shalom in my life right now. I don't even have to say it. But I wanted to ask you, Agent, is Pirates in need of introspection, similar to where Sundowns was sitting at some point, where you say, yes, Pitso was good. Yes, Rulani were playing chameleon. Yes, Three Wise Men. Yes, all of that stuff. It just couldn't get over the line. And maybe there comes a time where you have to do something radical. Can we argue that Pirates might be there?
I think I wanted to what time is it? It's 9 o'clock. It's
All right, go for it. I'm going to give you time.
I wanted to decide on it, on that, that's why I was checking the side. On that point, I think there's some deep soul searching that needs to be taken in the Soweto Giants. And I want to say this, that the last squad, such Chiefs, that won the league, it had Itumeleng Khune, Eric Matoho, Sianda Kulu, Morgan Gold, Siboniso Gata, Millard Katsande, George Maluleke, Renilolo Solonyane, Bennett Parker, like the list is going on and on. Look at the Pirates one, it had two keepers, Monib Joseph and Senzo Miwa, Happy Jelly, Siabonga, like Hilokwati, I do you know like them, Johannes, Tabo Matlava, Andy Lejali, you know what, I can go close to Holelas, Fiso Muyeni. You don't win the league with small boys. You can't win the league with small boys. You can't. You can't, I think there's some introspection that needs to happen, that we are big teams. We must have the biggest players in the country, the biggest talents. While it is good, and I admire what Paris does, that we didn't know Saling, we didn't know Tito, that is good. That is well tried. That's good, But now the Paris that I know is the Paris that can, when Benny McCarthy is coming from abroad, he comes to Paris, So I think there's some association that needs to happen that side. While it is good to make the DDC, and Paris has always had a track record of DDC players as well as Chiefs, so vilakazi, Pule, Akahoa Junior, they've always had that, but they always had experience in it.
Mabedi, Zama.
So you have to have experience, and we don't just mean experience in terms of age. You must have proper quality, and mix it with youngsters, and mix it with unknowns. That's what they're lacking right now.
Okay,
who is Junior Khanye, guys? That's how we knew him.
Can I ask you this then? Can I even say that Pirates needs introspection, even when it comes down to coaches? Because Tebza said something very interesting before he left now, that the coaches come and go. And, the pattern of Pirates coaches is even predictable of how they leave, the manner in which they leave, the place at which the project is at when they leave. Right at the precipice, right when they're right at the door, coach leaves. Isn't that also something that Pirates needs to look at?
Yes. No, I wanted to come on, before I go to the coaching aspect, the greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was to convince the world that it doesn't exist. Pirates have money, Chiefs have money. You can't tell me they can't go pound for pound with Sundowns. What happens to that 100 million that you guys get? Just from all those sponsors, just that 100 million.
You're taking it too far. Chiefs has 14 players that were signed in the last 2 years, let's say. Those are all signing on fees. Those are all wages. You could argue that you could have signed, instead of 14, you could have signed 5 really good players, or 6 really good players with that money. But anyway.
No, but I think that's the point that I wanted. That's why I was bringing in the players that I was bringing in, that you need to know that, okay, I have Makaula and Umbata. They're very good. But can I bring in a Jaden? You know, what can I do? Yes, I have a Umabas and Umakopa. You know, who, by the way, if I combine the goals of Umakopa, Mabasa, and Lepas in the entire history, Chevalier has more goals than them. So you can't tell me there's no striker who's better than those three. You need to go and get someone, you know. So I think Pirates need to add more quality, you know, and not just in terms of players, in terms of the coaches also. But here's the problem. The thing is, you're asking me questions, and I haven't gone to what I wanted to discuss. Here's the thing, OT. There's a landmine at Pirates. Whoever is going to come after Jose is going to fail. I'm looking at the next person after Jose. It's going to be a similar situation as Mangoba. So who is going to be the Mangoba? And can they make the decision to say, hey, my guy, you have lost M10-8, you're not doing that well in the league, let's cut ties. Immediately. Because the longer you prolong that, the longer you lose that momentum. You know? So for me, I think it's a case of having two coaches. One who is going to be the sacrificial lamb, and the second one who's going to take them to the next stage.
Can Mandla be the sacrificial lamb?
Yes, that's what they should. That's the safest option, right? Get a plumber who's gonna assess the coach, like backup. Yeah, this is my backup. You know, let me reduce the expectations for the season, because where Pirates is now, you know, it reminds me of Julian Caesar when he crossed the Rubicon. Pirates fans, I don't think they can accept a season where they don't get a trophy.
Okay.
They will want a trophy at all costs. So what do? You have to manage those expectations. And the only way to manage expectations is to bring someone who's going to go into that landmine. So I think that's the first important decision that they have to make. Another important decision that they have to make is, okay, what are you doing, right? It is good. I think they've signed 5 players, which is good. But only of those, I can only talk about Ndluli. Are you guys gonna add 2-3 players, you know, who are going to be starters? You know, you have the best 11. I think Pirates has a very good 11, or even 13 players. But can you bring people on who are going to, what is the word? Challenge and remove a player in that 11. You know, because you look at the 5 players, who are they replacing besides Ndluli? They're always going to be bench warmers. So I think they need 3 players. Yes, I agree with you that he might be a star, you know, but how many stars do we need that are going to develop to be stars, to be the Salings, you know? So yeah, I think for me, it's a coaching issue, and I think it's highest time those 2 teams invest, you know. Yeah, but my advice would be, don't go for Pitso, don't go for Rulani, go for another plumber after Thank you.
Okay. If I can offer my thoughts here quickly, because I've gone over time. I speak about introspection at Pirates and needing to look inside, because what you realize is that there's patterns. In order to do something new, sometimes you have to change what has been there. And the reason why I brought up the overall record in the league was to say, were Pirates and Chiefs ever serious league teams? Like serious, we're going to win the league 5 times in a row. Both of them have won it 4 times in the 30 years. So 8 of those years have come from Chiefs and Pirates. To put that into perspective, SuperSport, in their 3 run, they won 3. They won away from the record that Chiefs and Pirates have in the league in the PSL era. So I say that to say, when you look at the situation, They're not league teams. Not Bobby, not Kaizer Jr., not Jess, none of those people can say that they've won the leagues consistently. Not Dr. Irvin Khoza, well, his history stretches back, but what Dr. Irvin Khoza, the other administrators that have passed through there, none of them can say they've won the league consistently enough for them to say that the league is our thing. So now when I look at it, I'm thinking to myself, if everybody else is sitting in that situation, and we've been cup kings for the cups of the league. Pirates is now cup kings for the cups in the league. But when you look at the actual league, they haven't done it enough. So now when you sit down, you analyze the patterns. Like, for example, I'll give you one. Kaizer Chiefs. Have you ever noticed how when Kaizer Chiefs is right close to where success is, they shoot themselves in the foot? So I'll use an example. I'll use Ernst Middendorp. He finishes second. For everything we said, he's still one of the few coaches, the only coach that has taken Mamelodi Sundowns down to a final day in the last 10 years, let's say, right? Now, you'd imagine that the second season you go, okay, Ernst, you got us here. Your job now is to get us past this point. What do? Siyatiliza. Bring in somebody else. Kevin Hunt gets to a quarterfinal of the Champions League. Right there. Siyatiliza. Bring someone else. Atazwan, it takes you through the semi-finals and gets you to the final. What do? Uyatiliza. You bring in Stuart Baxter to take the final. You look at Pirates. At the time when Ruud Krol maybe should have an extra year or two to really cement. I know they won the double treble in his third year and then he left and then they won it the following year. But imagine if Ruud Krol was able to helm that Pirates team for another 2 or 3 years. Imagine if Micho got another chance. Imagine if Zimbabwe got another 2 years. Now we're sitting with Coach Rivero, who third season he leaves for whatever reason. There's a reason why Pitso stayed there. How long did Pitso stay? Was it seven years? I think it was, or something like that. He was there for a while at Sundowns to make sure that that foundation is deep. But every time the two Soweto Giants, we are sitting right there. Something happens. Patina Pirates, we even used to joke about it. We actually joked about it on the show last season when I said Pirates coaches just disappear, man. All of the time, it's never like a straight thing. Not Jose, there was grace. But was it Power, Bo Crowley? They just disappear. Those are patterns. And I liken it to Sundowns. I liken it to Sundowns in this sense. In Mamelodi Sundowns, yes, Coach Pitso's roots were deep. Yes, the continuation of Mangoba coming in and the continuation of Rulani coming in was great, right? But then when you look at the scorecard at the end of the day, and this was the fight I was having about our football versus football all over, I was like, at some point, you have to be honest with yourself. You've won the trophies. You've got the trophies in the bag. You've done this before. Mamelodi Sundowns, you've gotten to the quarterfinals. You've gotten to the semifinals. Over and over again, they keep telling you the best in the world, but you keep watching other kids lifting the trophies. At some point, Sundowns had to sit down and say, maybe lenta isebenze. And it's not that we don't like that thing, or it's not that we didn't grow up with that thing. It's not that we hate it or whatever. Sometimes you get there and you go, maybe now this necessitates a change. And even with Sundowns, the reason why this is so hard, even with Sundowns, it took a change of guard at the top Motsepe relinquishing things and saying, I need to go to CAF. For Topi to come in and maybe see things differently. Maybe, just maybe, people need to relinquish things at the top and allow other people to come in and bring new visions in and new ways to do things. Because again, I ask, if we have only won 4 leagues in the 30 years of the PSL, Chiefs, if we've only won 4 leagues in the 30 years of the PSL, Pirates, are those guys going to go win you the league? They can win you trophies, but can they win you the league? Are those guys going to take you to a Champions League? Now, Sundowns is learning weird lessons about their team. Miguel Cardoso, most doubted, most what. He's sitting in the final of the Champions League, first final since 2016. Patrulani, Patsbanban. First final since 2016 comes in the year where you could argue Kimang Fleming Berg takes full control of Mamelodi Sundowns. Full, no questions asked. No coach who's been there for 12 years, no coach who's been there forever. The first full season that he's gotten to himself, they get to a final. Doesn't that maybe make us question some things? To say, Marakai, let's be honest. Let's be honest. We love our teams, we love all the stuff, but they don't know how to do this. We love the guys that are there, they've got the trophies. I mean, Bobby probably has more trophies than anybody in the league. Mara. Nainto. So yeah, guys, I've gone over. I will be back tomorrow for the watch along. We're going to be back. I believe it's 3 o'clock. We're going to be here. So please join me. Follow if you have not followed. We're going to have more shows like this because the season is ending. When the season is on, we review, we watch games, but afterwards is where we actually get to have some really dope conversations. So please follow if you have not followed. And guys, I've got a Lays video out. Can you please do me the favor of just liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, watching it 10 times? That's the best way that you guys can support us as content creators when we're doing these things with the brands. So please, guys, go and check it out. Also, my podcast is on Spotify as well. So if you could please also go onto Spotify, the George Mokwena podcast. Follow the podcast, listen to a couple of the episodes. That would be incredible for me as well. And just in general, follow everywhere. And I try put out stuff every day. I try every couple of days. So check it out. There's a lot of things that I have there. And I still have my interview with Ukosh Chosta, with Tupra Chosta. Then also, I've got an interview with Amanda Dlamini that's going to be dropping next week. So please support. I'm not here without you guys. So I'm very thankful that you guys are with me through all of this. But I do still need your support in some of these things so that we can grow this platform to even larger extents. There's a thing I'm working on, but you can grow this thing to a large extent. So thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you to everybody that joined. Thank you to everybody that was on the panel. Thank you to those that commented, those who are on YouTube. Thank you to Mapule, Papa Josi, Sanza, Felicia, Lindo Pep, another one, Sevenza Sonke. Thank you guys so much. Fandenom, Tulani, thank you for the gifts on that side. Guys, I'll see you then tomorrow for the watch along. Bye, everyone.